I was offered a job paying 10 times more than any normal salary I had ever seen in my life. There was only one strange catch. This hotel had never appeared on a single map anywhere in the world. An empty mountain road, a violent thunderstorm, a heavy fog wrapping itself around absolutely everything ahead of me. A massive abandoned Gothic hotel waited in the middle of the forest. It greeted me with nothing but silence. The old manager looked at me and said calmly, "We have only 3 simple rules you must obey here. Never enter room number 306, not for any reason, not for anyone, never. You are forbidden to answer any guest after 3 o'clock in the morning, no matter what they ask. And if a girl with a bright red umbrella ever asks for your help, never look directly into her eyes." I laughed. Surely it was a joke. The manager stared back. "You can still leave right now if you want." The first few hours passed surprisingly calmly. One by one, the strange guests checked into their quiet rooms. A polite, thin old man in an antique suit asked me politely for a single cup of warm tea. A pale boy with hollow eyes walked up to my desk and asked me softly what year it was today. A tall, elegant woman with no face placed a brass key on the counter and walked away in total silence. I told myself it was just a themed hotel, but the thought of the girl with the red umbrella never left. The grand clock on the wall struck exactly 3 o'clock in the morning. The very moment everything changed. Every single light inside the entire hotel began to flicker, then dim, then flicker harder, like something breathing. The reception phone began to ring. The display showed only one chilling thing: room 306. The ringing would not stop. Against every rule I had been given, I slowly picked up the receiver. A trembling woman's whisper crawled through the line. "Please, whatever you do not open that door," I whispered back. "Who is this?" the voice answered. "You have already opened that door once before, long ago." The line went dead, and then total silence fell over the entire hotel. The kind of silence that feels alive. She appeared in the lobby, the girl with the red umbrella, soaked from head to toe, standing perfectly still. She walked slowly to the counter. "Please help me find a way out of here," she whispered through wet hair. Around her neck hung my mother's silver locket, the same one that had vanished from our home many years ago. I broke every rule I had been given. I stood up, and I followed her down the long, dark corridor. We stopped in front of room 306. She turned slowly, her violet eyes locked onto mine. "Open it," she whispered, "and you will finally know the truth." "Who are you really?" I asked her, shaking. "You used to call me your sister," she answered in a voice so soft it almost broke me in half. I pushed the door open. Inside there was no room, no walls, no floor, just an endless, empty void. Only an old television sat in the middle of the darkness. Its screen flickered to life with a recording. On the screen was me, 15 years older, tired, scarred, and this older version of me began to speak. "This is not a hotel. This is the place where people come when they refuse to ever accept their loss." The memories came rushing back: a car accident, rain, the terrible screeching sound of twisting metal in the night, a red umbrella falling onto wet black asphalt, and the scream of my own sister tearing through the dark. It was me behind the wheel that night. It was me. I was the reason my own sister had died. "You finally remembered," she whispered. "Now please let me go." The lights went out. A new check-in form waited. I pushed the door open, expecting a room. Instead, an endless corridor of light stretched in front of me, breathing like a living thing. It wasn't a room, it was an archive. Thousands of employee cards covered every wall, from floor to impossible ceiling. I picked up one card. The photo was me. The date stamped beneath it read 1972. I grabbed another, and another. Every card carried my face. Different years, same eyes, same uniform, same lost expression. I had worked here before. Not once, dozens of times. Every shift ended and somehow began again. A voice spoke behind me. I turned. It was me. Older, tired, carrying years I had never lived. He whispered the words I would never forget. "Every single time you forget, every single time you come back." I ran, out of the room, down the corridor, refusing to believe a single word that older version of me had said. I burst into the lobby. The guests were all there, standing, silent. Not a single one of them was moving. The little boy who asked me what year it was. I remembered now. A newspaper said he had died in 1958. The old man who asked for tea. 40 years ago, he had fallen from this very balcony. The papers called it an accident. The woman without a face. A missing persons photo on the wall. Same dress, same height. vanished a decade ago without trace. Every single guest turned their head toward me at the same moment, with the same impossible smile, watching, waiting, knowing. And then they spoke, every voice at once, one sentence, cold as ice. "You are late again. You are late again." She was waiting for me outside, standing in the rain, the girl with the red umbrella, the girl I had called my sister. She looked up at me with those impossible violet eyes and said the words that broke whatever was left inside of me. "I am not your sister. I never was. I am the last guest you refused to ever let go of, the one you kept." She opened the silver locket she always wore. Inside was a photograph I had never seen but somehow always remembered. 3 faces in the photo: me, her, and a small child between us. A child whose name I could no longer recall. The elevator opened on its own. The buttons glowed, and one of them, one I had never seen before, was lit. Floor 13. The hotel only had 12 floors. I had counted every single one of them, but the elevator kept climbing. Past 12, toward 13, the doors opened. A hallway with no end. Hundreds of doors, each one carved with a name, each one stamped with a date of death. I walked past name after name, strangers, lovers, children. Every person who had ever vanished inside this hotel had their own quiet door. And then I found mine, my own name, carved deep into the wood, and below it, written in fresh red ink, a single word: today. A voice crackled through the intercom above me. Calm, polite, familiar. "Night receptionist, your shift has come to an end. 2 choices: open my own door and walk out forever, or stay in this hotel, stay with her, for all of eternity." She reached for me, her fingers shaking, her violet eyes drowning in tears she had carried longer than I had been alive. She whispered the only thing she had left: "If you leave through that door, then I disappear. I disappear forever this time." My hand reached for the handle, slowly, as if it belonged to someone else, someone who had done this exact thing many times before. I opened the door, and the hotel was gone. In its place was a small modern bedroom, a desk, a chair, a glowing computer screen. On the screen was an editing program, YouTube Studio, a video timeline, and one notification quietly blinking in the upper right corner. Upload complete. The title read, "I worked the night shift at a hotel that doesn't exist." 13 million views, and 1 pinned comment. The pinned comment said only 4 words: "He is finally remembering." The screen went black, and a soft whisper filled the room.